Welcome to the Theory of Learning in Micro, Context and Explanation. In this video, we will examine the ingredients of this theory and bake up some examples. Meg, will you start us off?
Microlearning is an emerging e-learning approach referring to bite-sized information presented in various short formats. Learning in micro is different from traditional e-learning, and the process of how one comes to know is also different. Thus, we are proposing the theory of learning in micro. The theory of learning in micro is based on the hypothesis that learning is a continual process, better supported with smaller, more focused learning resources and activities. Through the lenses of knowledge and design, we believe knowledge gained through microlearning includes two primary categories: acquisition of knowledge and application of knowledge. We also follow the assumption that design of microlearning impacts knowledge primarily focused on two categories: microlearning design and the learning environment. Annetta will explain the example being used and the acquisition of knowledge.
To illustrate the theory of learning in micro, we'll be using the example of a Barbie cake. Now, when baking a cake, there are three main steps: preparing, baking, and decorating. And we're going to explore these three steps within knowledge and design. Starting with knowledge, there are two primary categories: acquisition and application. Acquisition aligns with the breadth of knowledge, which is content knowledge involving knowledge general basics about a topic without knowing more about why, how, or when to apply it. Microlearning better supports content knowledge acquisition, especially where breadth of knowledge is more prioritized than depth. In preparing the cake, prior knowledge on the ingredients, different kitchen utensils, bakeware, and appliances, and how to access a recipe or buy boxed cake is needed. Microlearning will support the acquisition of this preparation knowledge. In baking a cake, the breadth of knowledge includes how to preheat your oven, greasing the cake pan, how much time the cake will bake, and possibly checking the cake with a toothpick. Microlearning will facilitate the acquisition of this type of procedural knowledge of baking. Prior knowledge for decorating entails procuring icing or frosting, along with other decorations to put on the cake. In breadth of knowledge, these decorations are typically store-bought. To aid your decorating efforts, you can look at photos and quick videos that mimic the result of what you want to create. Mona Lisa, please elaborate on the application of knowledge.
Depth of knowledge is a kind of content knowledge that goes beyond knowing general basics about a topic to knowing more about why, how, or when to apply it. In spaces where depth of knowledge and skills are needed, microlearning will support specific skills and knowledge more quickly. When applying your knowledge in preparing a cake, you need to make sure that you understand baking vocabulary. You also may need to be aware of variations in recipe and know specific techniques such as when to freeze bowls and utensils. This depth of knowledge is supported through skill building from microlearning. Examples of depth of knowledge in baking a cake include baking in different altitudes, oven variations, and oven temperature variations. This depth of baking knowledge is gleaned over time through authentic application. Examples of applying depth of knowledge during decorating is icing or frosting a cake from scratch, building multiple layers of a layered cake, knowing when to frost the cake, and creating decorations rather than buying them. Microlearning helps strengthen abilities, which in turn supports this level of knowledge. Now, Okan will discuss the microlearning design impact on acquisition of the theory.
Moving to design, there are two primary categories: microlearning design and learning environment. Microlearning designed with research multimedia and cognition elements will better support knowledge acquisition. Media elements that support the preparation of a cake include images of the ingredients, steps, and list of ingredients, utensils, or bakeware. This media should be designed to support cognitive load with media design principles in mind. Cognition elements that supports microlearning knowledge acquisition in design include step-by-step instructions and specific temperatures and timing. This information should be designed so people can quickly digest the information in an orderly flow. In the design of microlearning for knowledge acquisition, images of store-bought items, images on the internet, and how-to videos for applying decorations are typically used. These media elements should be designed with multimedia principles in mind to best support bakers. Jamie, would you please explain the microlearning design impact on application of the theory?
Sure. Microlearning design with reflective practices and hands-on opportunities will better support knowledge application. When applying your knowledge in preparing a cake, you will implement the previously acquired vocabulary such as creaming, pouring, icing, frosting, and whipping. You recognize the variations and reflect on what doesn't work and when it works well. This reflection will better support the application of knowledge. If your baking goes well or fails, you tend to reflect on what you did, such as burning or underbaking, and then utilize more strategies such as the toothpick trick, or know how altitude impacts your cake. The application of this knowledge is learned best with hands-on microlearning. Applying depth of knowledge during decorating will entail a reflection on what failed and what went well. This helps to deepen the knowledge on the practice of decorating. Shams will now explain the impact of learning environment in the theory.
Microlearning should be specifically designed for formal or informal learning, as the use of microlearning designed for formal environments will be less effective in knowledge acquisition and application in informal environments. Let's explore a failed Barbie cake. What happened? The ideal Barbie cake was created in a formal learning environment, such as a specialty bakery with specialty tools. It was created with formal learning resources such as the baker's previous training. The failed Barbie cake was created in an informal learning environment such as regular kitchen with regular kitchen tools. It may have been created with formal learning resources such as how-to videos and a recipe, but in an informal setting. The baker needed more supports in the acquisition and application of knowledge through microlearning to create the ideal Barbie cake. The theory of learning in micro is a continual process, better supported with smaller, more focused learning resources and activities. Knowledge is supported in both the acquisition and application through microlearning design and learning environment design. Irene, please elaborate on how this theory connects with the mission and values of AECT.
This theory is in a direct alignment with AECT's mission of promoting scholarship and best practices in the creation, use, and management of technologies for effective teaching and learning. AECT is in a position to shape the future of this theory by encouraging members to engage in scholarly work in microlearning and paving the way for researchers to connect the existing practice with theory. Through the theory of learning in micro, we hope to exemplify the values of leadership and collaboration as we work together to establish a foundation for how people learn in micro. The advancement of knowledge and design of microlearning demonstrates a commitment to producing high-quality artifacts, supporting professional standards. Through this theory, we hope to support microlearning that yields more exemplar Barbie cakes instead of failed Barbie cakes. In summary, our proposed theory of learning in micro aims to provide a set of beliefs and assumptions to the microlearning community to be used by researchers as further microlearning frameworks and models are developed. Our next steps are to test the theory. Check out our references and thank you.